Good morning, collective. Hello, good morning. How are we today? I hope that you are doing well. My name is Patience. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. I am your favorite spirit medium host of Spirit News Podcast on all major platforms. I am so grateful for the opportunity to be of service. I am using my gifts for good, trying to get higher perspectives of linear views of our crossover loved ones, using this platform to practice my spiritual abilities, which everybody has. Everybody is able to tap in because it's about, if you want it to make a little more sense, it's quantum mechanics. It's the quantum theory, quantum field. It's quantum. It's about understanding your energy, and we teach you how to do that on Spirit News, our podcast. We teach you about non-physical energy with my very own spirit team, the Guild of the Golden Triangle, which is Mish, Mirabelle, and Mantis. Everybody has a spirit team. Everyone is assigned a spirit team and who are waiting to help you, who give you gentle nudges, and who give you clues, signs, synchronicities, symbols. We're learning the language of spirit, which is completely symbolic, emotional. It's a feeling, it's a knowing, and we're using this platform to learn the language. So, thank you so much for being here. We wanted to talk to Donda West. We wanted to talk to Donda West because her son is her son is wilding out. Her son is, I feel so bad for him. There's clearly something going on. Um, and I don't know him. I can't say, that I know for sure. Just look, just watching it unfold is really painful, honestly, to me. Just feeling all his grief. He has 222. He has so much grief. When I feel his energy, and he's just become so, what's the word? Confused. There's some kind of break in him, there's something that's taken over him. That's, I don't know what it is. It's definitely has to do with him not dealing with grief properly from the loss of his mother. I can tell you that for sure. So I wanted to try and talk to Donda herself and see if we can get her perspective of what's going on and see if we can help heal it, because to reveal is to heal. Spirit said reveal to heal. So there's certain spiritual things that happen that we aren't able to perceive. And so this is just a new way for us to understand that we can absolutely tap into unseen realms and unseen things, non-physical energy that prevents us from moving on, or that keeps us trapped in some kind of limbo, which is actually what I got. I was doing a meditation before I started, and um, Anubis has been coming up a lot. I did a reading yesterday that I'm going to post, that also had Anubis. And then I had found at the five below the Book of the Dead, the Egyptian Book of the Dead, which has Anubis on the front. I don't know anything about the Egyptian Book of the Dead, but I think the relevance of it is Anubis. And I looked up the symbology of Anubis, and it says that symbol of protection. Anubis was believed to protect the dead from malevolent forces and ensure their safety in the afterlife, which I thought was really interesting. Hello, Steph Squires. My name's Black Slave Eddie Elliott. Can you write my name down, please? Beautiful white queen. I respect you, beautiful queen. I'm sorry, I'm not writing anything down right now. But thank you for being here. I really appreciate you so much. And so I think in the vision that I had in the meditation, Anubis was, um, I came to this archway, this like, oh my gosh, an archway. Um, I came to this stone archway, and he was standing in front of it, and he was like, silently with his staff, and he was like, "Come through here." And I went through it, and when I went through it, I was in front of this giant body of water. And I want to say salt water. I don't know why I want to say that, but I saw Donda in the water just floating, and it's like, and she looked at me like she couldn't move, and she looked at me like this, like at the through the side of her eye. And I was like, um, I felt like she was stuck or like in limbo, or there's, but Anubis was protecting her from something. He was always standing by her, kind of just making sure nothing happens to her or something. So I thought that was really strange. So then I was looking for the picture for the thumbnail, which is this. And it's interesting because if you look at it on Donda's side, it's like this really weird brick, almost like a like a old time foreign country prison wall. And then on Kanye West side is like this smooth wall. It's like nothing. So I was like, oh, that's weird that AI would create that. And that's kind of what the stone archway looked like. That like white stone. So I was like, okay, that's weird. And then I do this thing, Spirit guided me to do this thing, and I don't do it with everyone, but if I'm called to do it, I'll do it. But this thing where I take a picture of somebody and I mirror it, and oftentimes what happens is I can tell, or I can read, or I'm not really sure how it works because it's kind of crazy. I can tell where the person's at in their soul. Light flicker for confirmation. And what I mean by that, and I'll show you, like, if your soul, if your heart is light as a feather, and you're, kind, and you're doing what you got to do to be a good person and all that, when I mirror your image, it's very like ethereal. It's very flowy. It's very light. It's very beautiful. It looks very like symmetrical. Um, but if somebody has a heavy heart, it looks kind of scary. And I'm gonna show you. I did it for the thumbnail picture, and I inverted the color. Um, but you can see this is Kanye, and this is Donda, and then this is Donda over here, and that's Kanye, and then the color is kind of dripping onto Kanye's face, making him really look distorted. And this looks like some kind of like entity or something. So, but it's not Donda. I think it's someone who pretended to be Donda. Because Donda's right here on the side, kind of like separated. And so is Kanye. Kanye is separated too. Now, I didn't see Kanye in my vision. And there's also this weird, like, I don't know, some kind of weird animal thing right here, which will often come up. Animals will come through in the spirit picture. So, very interesting. There's that. Okay. I'm just sharing all the downloads I got. There's a song. There's a song. It's by Teddy Swims. Spirit sent me this song, or Donda, I'm not sure. Um, it's called Bad Dreams, and I can't play it because of copyright infringement, but it says, sun is going down, time is running out, no one else around but me. Steady losing light, steady losing my mind, moving shadows and grinding teeth. Without you, there ain't no place for me to hide. Without you, there's no way I can sleep tonight. What I do for a little bit of peace and quiet. Without you, I keep slipping into bad dreams where there's no you and I, no sound when I cry, which has reminded me of when I saw her in the water, because she couldn't move and she couldn't move on. It was like she was stuck in this like afterlife limbo. I have seen the water pool for one other person, um but she wasn't submerged in the pool, like floating in it. She was being hit by the waves. In this scenario, the the waves were there, but you know, like when you swim further out into the ocean, you don't get hit by the waves, you just kind of flow with the waves. It was kind of like that. So she wasn't getting hit by waves, getting knocked over. She was floating, and the water just kind of like taking her, and she couldn't get out of it. So this lyric kind of reminded me of that. It's like this person's in a bad dream. Like Donda's like stuck in some kind of bad dream. I love you and I need you to set me free. That's another thing. I need you to set me free. I swear she's like stuck somewhere. From all these bad dreams, waiting on the other side. It says, waiting on the other side, no sound when I cry. I love you and I need you to set me free. And I think she's talking to her son from all of these bad dreams. Baby, please come around, help me settle down. Hellish habits can cloud my head. What are you waiting for? Something physical, which is what I'm getting from that is when I speak to people who have crossed over loved ones, one of the most common things that they portray is this perception that they're gonna call me at any minute now. I always feel like they're gonna call me, or they're gonna do something to show me that they're here, or they're gonna walk through the door, something physical. But they're all crossed over, they're non-physical energy. So it's like what I'm getting from the song is she needs Kanye to let go of her in some way. Um, his I don't know if it's completely just energetic through his thoughts, or if he actually did something to like bring her back and to like experience her again. So I'm not sure which one it could be both. It could definitely be both. But what I'm getting is whatever he's doing or did or is doing, it's not allowing her to move on. It's keeping her stuck in this weird kind of limbo. But in this limbo, Anubis uh, is protecting her from malevolent energies, it said. And then that picture, it kind of made me feel like, and I don't know this for sure, and this is for entertainment purposes only, and I'm just saying what I'm getting. Um, Please let me know how you feel about it in the comments. But what I was getting is like his one of his concerts, he was doing this, he was saying her name over and over again, and he was doing some kind of ritual on stage. And I wonder if in his grief he thought that it would be in his benefit to try to bring her energy back in some way, to try to experience her again in whatever way he could. And when you do that, what it does is it will open a portal or a gateway to whatever is matching your energy now. And so something may have came through that pretended to be his mom, that could have potentially have pretended to be his mom, um or something like that, and it could have possibly crossed over into his energy field and could be a reason why he's so erratic and acting very different than what he used to. So I'm not 100% sure. That's just the information I was getting. I also got something about, oh, let me finish the song. Um, what are you waiting for? Something physical. I can't do this by myself. Without you, there ain't no place for me to hide. Excuse me. Without you, there's no way I can sleep tonight. What I do for a little bit of peace and quiet. Without you, I keep slipping into bad dreams. Where there's no you and I, no sound when I cry. I love you and I need you to set me free. Okay. I also was getting something about Saturn. I don't know much about the planets and how they, what their meanings are, so I had to look it up. But I was getting something about Saturn, and I wrote down um, something about saturnal energy growth through material pain and gain, and something about saturnal teachings being misused or inverted or misunderstood through the lens of material ego instead of the heart. Getting what you want before you're ready emotionally. And it says Saturn is the teacher who imparts wisdom through experience and the passage of time. So I think it could possibly time transformation and hidden wisdom. I think it could potentially connect to this experience through losing someone, through grief. Um, Kanye clearly hasn't allowed time to heal him. There's something that he interrupted that, um, I don't know, brought something through that is potentially keeping Donda from crossing over. So we'll see what's going on. I did spirits like you should ask more questions, and I was like, okay. So I do have some questions. We'll see if it helps kind of streamline the information so we get a little more clarity. One of the questions I have is I said, "Hi, Donda. What was the truth about you and Kanye's relationship?" So then I opened up to the Gifts of Imperfection. This is by Brene Brown, PhD, and it says, "Love is the most important thing in our lives, a passion for which we would fight or die, and yet we're reluctant to linger over its names. Without a supple vocabulary, we can't even talk or think about it directly. Exploring the power of love, belonging, and being enough." So it's like, oh. So the question was, uh, what what was the truth about you and Kanye's relationship? And then when I read that, I had also written I was getting a download about relying on a person for emotional support without learning how to stabilize your own emotions or love yourself. Thank you so much, staff. So it says, "Love and belonging are essential to the human experience. As I conducted my interviews, I realized that the only one thing separated men and women who felt a deep sense of love and belonging from the people who seemed to be struggling for it. The one thing is the belief in their worthiness. It's as simple as and complicated as this. If we want to fully experience love and belonging, we must believe that we are worthy of love and belonging." And so, what I'm getting about it is that there could have been a dynamic between Donda and Kanye where I don't know who it was, and I kind of feel like this is Donda with her son, that no matter what he did, it wasn't good enough, or like she wanted, in her eyes, she wanted to push him to be, this, because she's very accomplished. Yeah, let me read about her. She's very accomplished. She was a doctor. She was an American educator and chair of Chicago State University's Department of English, Communications, Media, and Theater. And so she was very accomplished. And her son, who I believe grew up without a father, um, needed a lot of direction. He was very, like an artist. He was just very all over the place. And he needed a lot of stabilizing, a lot of grounding. And she could have put a lot of pressure on him to be enough, to be like the son of this accomplished person, or he could, or if she wasn't I don't think she was purposely trying to do that, but I think that he really needed her approval, to feel grounded, to feel stabilized, to feel accomplished, and he wanted to strive for that level of um, belonging or being enough. So when I read that, I went to my amazing facts and I pulled this one, and it says, according to the Book of Kings, David wins Saul's daughter, Michal, by killing 200 people and removing their foreskins as a gift for his potential father in law, which is so weird. That's totally weird. Okay, and it says that it's true. True. Yes, actually, this is true. Even more disturbingly, Saul only asked for 100, so another 100 Philistines were done away with just just for a bit of overkill. So this is connected in many ways. For one, having to do with being enough. Like, first of all, love is unconditional. If this person wanted to marry this person's daughter, um, what are you gonna do with 100 or 200 foreskins? Like, how is that? Like, just showing and metaphorically the length he would go to show this woman that he loved her and that he wanted to be enough for her, or and it could also be the lengths in which she would go to show him. So I kind of, and I wrote right here, having kind of like an unhealthy um relationship, where there possibly was no boundaries, and there was a power dynamic of never being enough and striving to like do possibly like the most just to like get um validated, something like that. um this This is absolutely ridiculous that 200 people had to die and have their it's so 200 men had to die and have their foreskins removed just to marry this girl. So that's like a whole other thing in itself about the Bible. Some of the things that are in there, like, what are you talking about? Why would you do that? So it just is another connection for um this relationship, light flicker. This relationship could potentially have some unhealthy boundaries, uh, and standards and practices of um, being enough for each other, and there could be some kind of dynamic like that. Okay. Um, what are some contributing factors that led up to your son's current situation? Why do you think you passed the way you did? What are some hidden truths about your human journey that you would like to reveal and heal? How can we help Kanye now? Is there any way we can help him? Those are just some of the questions that I came up with. Okay, so let me get the necrometer on and we'll get this patty started. So, if you guys don't know, Donda West was born July 12th, 1949, and she passed November 10th, 2007. So she died at the age of 58 because of, so there's kind of like, I was just about to leave. There's kind of some discord about the way she passed because some people are saying that it was complications because of uh, cosmetic surgery. She had gone under to have a few procedures done. I think it was a breast reduction, some liposuction, stuff like that. And instead of staying in the hospital for her care, she supposedly insisted on going home and being treated by her nephew, who supposedly is this registered nurse or something. But the nurse wasn't there. And so when she started to have some complications from her medication, she actually choked on her own vomit at home, which is really sad. It's very sad. So it could have been prevented. The people that were with her at home um, were they called them lay persons. So they weren't aware of anything medical. They couldn't help medically. They didn't have the expertise to help her to know the nuances of after surgery care. And so she ended up choking to death, which is very sad. So, yeah. So, Kanye, I believe what I was getting was he did not grieve. He didn't allow himself to grieve. And there's still some kind of energy of him not being able to let go, him not, and whatever this pull is of him not knowing how to grieve properly, such a big loss of his stability. This woman was part of his stability, part of his anchor, something that grounded him, something that potentially like called him on his shit or like was truly honest with him. I don't think he has another person like that around him to do that for him, that he respects or that he cares as much about. Something like that. Okay? Uplifts. Uplifts. Aw. Leader. Leader. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he's like one of those dancy air things that's like just like all crazy, and he needs structure. His mother gave him structure. But the thing is she didn't teach him how to do that for himself. And so they never really planned ahead for a time where if he ever lost her or vice versa, who would stabilize the other one? Like, how can you stabilize yourself without needing outside anything to make you feel anchored or to ground you? That's kind of the main like lesson that I'm getting out of this. All right, Donda, thank you so much. Please tell us, how can we help? How can we set you free? She's in some kind of like weird I wouldn't say purgatory because she's not like it's not of her own accord. It's like she's placed in this pool, this like wave pool for protection to keep her like isolated, but she also can't like move on and she wants to move on. So, how can we help? What do you want us to know about this situation? Hmm. Jewelers. Follow the sign. Jewelers, follow the sign. Well, it's a party of some kind. Oh my gosh, doesn't this look like Kanye right here? Where he's a little boy with headphones on? Huh. So something about Kanye being around proud. Oh. Yes. So Kanye had a lot of influence in his life from a young child. His mother could have brought a lot of like variety of people around. He could have been very like well traveled. He could have been his mother tried to open him up to lots of like cultures, to lots of like experiences. Um, he was very helpful as a child. He was very happy. He was always into music. He also has this, like rainbow bracelet on, or multicolored bracelet on. He could have possibly been at, since a young age, showing signs of, I don't know. I don't know yet. I don't want to say that yet. I don't know. But in any case, he was a very happy child, and thematically, I don't know what thematically is. I'm gonna look that up. Spirit said thematically. Thematically, in a way that relates to the body as opposed to the mind or spirit. It describes something that is bodily or physical. Somatic therapy. It describes something that is bodily or physical. A somatic symptom is a symptom that affects the body, while something somatically focused might involve the body's sensations. So, something about somatic therapy. Um, Somatically refers to anything related to the physical body, like physical sensation or disease affecting the body. Mm. So there could have been something that happened to him as a child that affected his, or that could be still be being experienced somatically in his body, or that could have been impressed onto his body, something that's affecting him somatically. Hmm, interesting. Okay. What else? What else do you want us to know? She said proud, so it could have meant a lot to Kanye to want to make his mother proud, and like I said, to kind of like a, almost like an unhealthy, um, unattainable, you know, bar of do all these things and then you'll be good enough kind of thing. Yeah, I think Kanye was definitely someone who appreciated music, someone who is truly gifted at hearing, music and creating it, and um it's something that's very comes very easy to him. So that's true. Okay, that's true. Something since he was a child could have been very easy for him, and she may have pushed him into that. Two women and a Casanova. Two women and a Casanova, and a table of three women looking back. He may have been a ladies' man, always chasing girls with his music, charming them with his music. He may have pulled in a lot of ladies with his love of music. He's somebody who's easily distracted. He constantly needed focus. He may have been very hyper as a child. He may have been a child that was very sweet but needed a lot of structure, because he lost focus very easily, something like that. He had a lot of distractions. What else? Yeah, the eternal child. The eternal child. Someone very someone very bright, someone very creative, but someone very immature. Someone that often views things from a very childlike point of view. Something that happened to him that could have something that happened to him as a child that could have possibly kept him in a very immature kind of energy. Very creative though. But something, the judge, yeah, the judge. Yeah, I think his mom could have been very, you know, it kind of reminds me of those parents often found in Asian culture where they're so hard on their children that um their children feel this pressure to be whatever their parents want them to be because they don't want to disappoint their parents. It kind of feels like that. She could have been very stern in that way, very um, uh, judgmental about his choices. But he always, from the start, showed a passion in music, so that could have been something that she wanted to nurture. The comic, like I said, but he's very he needs a lot of focus. He needs a lot of. So she could have been very bossy to him, very controlling in that way. I don't think she viewed it in a bad way. Um, it was definitely coming from a place of love, but it could have possibly created this mm, reliancy on her being the force that drives him, telling him what to do and where to go and how to do it, and stuff like that. Instead of letting him kind of make his mistakes and kind of learn how to soothe himself. The medallions. She kind of pulled the reins. She was the leader. She was the leader. She was the breadwinner. She was the person he viewed as having the knowledge or the he trusted her implicitly to guide him, and he never really learned how to do it for himself. He didn't learn his emotions. The seed. Yeah, she She, I don't want to say she created a monster because it's, it's a little more complicated than that, but she definitely planted a seed of unworthiness unless she approved of whatever it was he was doing. And so in doing that, it led him to constantly need her approval for anything he did. And when he lost her, he lost that. So it kind of feels like this inability to make rational decisions because his anchor, his grounding rod is gone. He has no fault line. Yep, this just fault line. Yeah, he was when she was around, he felt confident in himself because she told him, she would tell him, "Oh, you're doing a great job. Yeah, you should do this and yeah, you should do that." And when he lost her, he didn't have that anymore and he never did it on his own. He had never done it on his own. The mirror. Remember I said the thing about um the spirit picture? The mirror. The animal. Yeah, so now without her, he's forced to look in the mirror at things that his mother may not have allowed him to overcome. The shadows within the shadows within him that he packed away, that his mother didn't ever allow him to feel or to experience because she was constantly praising him, constantly being that person of validation. Okay, so now what's happening is we're it's almost like snapping a rubber band back and releasing it, and it goes it snaps back because now this whole time he's had his mom to praise him and to tell him all how he's doing great, and to give him that confidence, to be that anchor to ground him, to tell him when he's doing something wrong and doing something right. And now that all these years he hasn't had her, he's progressively starting to experience the parts of himself that he never, that he has repressed, which is very in survival mode, very ego, very look at me. He needs the validation. That's what he got from his mom. So he desires attention and he doesn't care about how he gets it. Confirmation. He doesn't care about how he gets it because he got the validation from his mother that he doesn't get anymore. So now he's just chasing that feeling of being loved, of being accepted. It makes him very animalistic. It makes him very unhinged, you know. He's looking in a mirror at parts of himself that his mother didn't ever acknowledge. Okay, she would say, don't act like that. I don't know how exactly she would do it, but she'd basically, praise the good parts about him, and then if he ever, messed up, she'd give him hell for it. And so he doesn't have that person anymore to hold him accountable, for his, uh, comic behavior, because he can be very, unruly. He likes to get reactions out of people. He likes to play games. He likes to um I don't want to say manipulate, but he enjoys drama. He likes drama. Okay? So, what happened? Be replaced in your friend group by a porpoise masquerading as you. Yeah, so he's been trying to replace her with people with people, places, things to replace her to fill that void, because he's masquerading around, acting like he has purpose, but without her, he feels like he has no purpose. There's no one to tell him, yeah, you're doing a great job, honey, keep it up. You're a peasant in medieval times. Yeah, he's has a wound of unworthiness. His mother filled that void, and when he lost his mother, he lost that validation. Change your name to Captain Assface. That's why he's such a jerk now, because he was so addicted to having her attention and her validation that now he doesn't care how he gets attention. Your dad divorces your mom because he's fallen in love with you romantically. He could have a father wound because he grew up in a single parent household where he didn't have a dad. So that's where I was saying, like, there's some kind of weird, like, relationship between this mother and son that may have been slightly inappropriate. I'm not saying like sexually, but I'm saying emotionally. Um, like looking for emotional stability and support through your, like, that a spouse would give, but through your son. It kind of feels like that. Not romantically, but just his mom was take a year long vow of silence. Yeah, his mom was eat all of your meals off Vin Diesel's head. Yeah, she was very controlling in that way. She always had to be knowing what he was doing. She was very close to him, like almost so close that um he would eat all her meals off of his head. That's just a metaphor, but um that's how when you're in a relationship with your parent and your parent's been single for so long, and you are a son and like a mother daughter, or like a father daughter, I'm sorry, like a mother son or a father daughter, um it happens on a subconscious level, but what can happen is that that single parent can focus so much on the child, the son, that they become that emotional support, that stability. And disagree. Oh, Spirit said disagree. So if I'm wrong, then what are you saying? Mike Tyson is going on a Rambo style manhunt for you. Oh, you're saying that. Oh, okay, I got you. You're saying that you. Aries. Thank you. You're saying that you weren't that way to him, but he was that way to you. Okay. It's almost like Kanye was, he needs her validation to feel like he can do anything. And so that's the unhealthy emotional attachment, is that he looks to her for any kind of validation for anything he does. And that can often get in the way of other relationships, because it could bring her into his other relationships where she doesn't need to be in. So something like that. The Church of Scientology is trying to ruin your life. Yeah, I was getting something about using some kind of fraternal teachings, or understanding some kind of fraternal teachings the wrong way, or something like that. Hi, Robin. Good morning. Thank you for being here. So happy to see you. Um, the Church of Scientology is trying to ruin your life. Tell me more about the Church of Scientology, or this religion. Be Amish and on the FBI's most wanted list. You can only stand or be hung upside down. Yeah, there's something about when. Okay, so Spirit, please correct me if I'm wrong. What I was getting earlier, and this is kind of confirming it, is that however Kanye West got famous, whatever he did, it was directly related to some kind of either saturnal teachings or some kind of spiritual knowledge, something like that. I don't know exactly what. Um, and he may have inverted the teachings or used the teachings because he went on some kind of Rambo style manhunt looking for his mom. That's why I was saying he did this concert once where he was having the crowd and himself repeat Donda's name over and over again, and he was doing some kind of ritual on the stage. He may have done some kind of ritual to experience her again, but something that he learned from someone else, from something else that he came across. So it's like I don't know. He took some kind of knowledge and thought he could apply it and like bring his mom back and use the power of the concert with all the people to kind of amplify that or something like that. But when he did that, it put him like a beacon, be Amish and on the FBI's most wanted list. It put him in direct contact with something that um, attached to him. You can only stand or be hung upside down. So now it's like he is upside down, like metaphorically. Whatever came through, he thought it would be his mom, but you can't do that. You can't bring people back from the dead. You can't do that. Hi, Jeff. You can't do that. Swamp Dick. Swamp Dick and women in yogurt commercials. Yeah, it's like you wouldn't have. I don't know. So whatever he brought back is now Swamp Dick. It's clouding his judgment. It's making him do weird things like being a woman in a yogurt commercial. Pac-Man uncontrollably guzzling cum. It could have possibly have made him a sex addict. He could be watching like more porn or something with sex, something he's insatiable, he's because he's empty. Drive a smart car off a ramp over the fucking Grand Canyon. Mm. A murder most foul. Okay, tell me about this schmurder. Tell me about this schmurder. What about it? Who? What? When? Where? Something could be driving him off the deep end. Whatever he did to get his mom to come to experience his mom again, could have the Grim Reaper. The relationship is over. No second chance. Grow and transform your life. And it says right here, Scientology is trying to ruin your life. So whatever, I think because whatever he did it on a public stage, and it could have been some kind of secret that he wasn't supposed to reveal or to perform in a public setting. And so What it did was it put him on Scientology's most wanted list. So he could possibly have something trying to run him over a ramp, and or sending him energy where he's very has a very addictive personality. Um, Tell me about this murder. Someone sent the Grim Reaper to someone. The sword and rose, clarity, truth, revelation, solidarity, force, honor, protection, power. Hmm. Are you saying, tell me if I'm wrong, are you saying that, are you saying that someone murdered you? Addiction, I can't make it up. He has addiction now. Separation. I have this mother to son book. What are you saying? When all else fails, give him cookies and milk. Codependent, obsession, possession, controlling, has a block, restraint. Yeah, he was trying to get clarity and truth about the way his mother died because he swore that he had some kind of obsession about how his mother died. He swore it was someone murdered her or that it was somebody's fault, possibly someone trying to ruin his life. It became an obsession. He wanted clarity and truth, so he could have possibly became obsessed with understanding what happened. Whatever he did to try to like bring her back or to get some kind of second chance with her, created a possession. And he was trying to control the outcome of something because his separation and sadness about her was so um it says yearning, thinking about you, missing you, sadness, unsure of future, because it was his separation anxiety from her was so strong that he would do anything to be with her. He will want you to be his friend, but what he really needs is a mom. Wow. Mm. So whatever he did, it's like he called Anubis to bring her back from the dead, but what it did was it pulled her into a limbo, a pool of limbo. So now his obsession with experiencing her again and wanting to have a second chance to say goodbye to her. He has this thought in his head that he keeps thinking that I didn't get to say goodbye. I didn't get to do this. I didn't get to do that. I need Donda to do this. I need Donda to do that. He has this obsession with this thought pattern. And so, whatever he did to try to experience her again, because he was in that position when he tried to bring her back, he called upon Anubis or some kind of deity or Grim Reaper, somebody, to bring her back, and that opened him up to possession. And I'm not saying he's demonically possessed, but I am saying that this energy of him being in the separation anxiety of not being able to, these thoughts he has of not being able to like do things without her or do anything without her, that's an energy, and you can label it as demonic if you want, but you can overcome it. And so it's not like it's this demonic presence that came and is controlling you. It is his own thoughts and his own inability to separate himself from those thoughts that controls him. And so you can label it as demonic if you want to, if you want to like wrap your head around it, but it is not like this demonic entity that is like, it's not like how the movies portray it. And that's what we try to teach you about energy. Like, you can change energy. You can redirect energy. You can transmute energy. You can shift energy. Energy never dies. You can always change it. And that's what alchemy is essentially about. It's about changing one thing into another, changing lead into gold, or gold into lead. It can go the other way. And so in this situation, Kanye used gleefully, thank you. That's what's wrong with Kanye, is that he has separation anxiety, and this continual obsession of wanting to experience his mom again because he didn't properly grieve her has kept him in this energy. And as he continues to experience this energy and not actually release it somatically from his body, hi Christian, he will continue to, or spirit's warning him that he needs to resolve this grievance, that he needs to release this energy, or he needs to do something to understand, to let it go. Otherwise he's going to keep going down this road that he's going down, of addiction, of blocks, of control, of obsession, of codependency. He keeps looking for people, or entering relationships with people, looking for that kind of relationship he had with his mom, someone to reel him in, someone to tell him that he's the greatest. And she's saying that that's where her mistake was, that she pumped him up and gave him confidence, and was the source of that confidence. But without her, he doesn't have it. And so she didn't teach him how to be confident without her. She she was happy becoming that source because she loved him, but in retrospect now, his obsession with needing her in his life in all kinds of ways has kept her stuck in this limbo where she can't move on. He keeps her stuck. And that's one thing that we want you to know about your loved ones. When you have a loved one who's crossed over and you constantly say, I don't know what I'm going to do without you. My life will never be the same. How can I move on without you? How am I going to go on every day? I'm waiting for your call. I'm waiting for you to walk through the door and tell me you love me. Those are the kinds of things that bind your loved ones to this realm, because they don't want to leave you like that. They don't want to leave you like that. Um, you have to understand that that this life is meant to be temporary. We come here to have a temporary experience because we are eternal. We don't die. And we think it will be fun to have a physical experience for a short amount of time because we're infinite. There is no dying, there's no death, there's no such thing. There's transition. You transition into a different state of existence or of being. But when you don't understand that, and that's perfectly understandable, you don't understand how it works, I'm telling you that you will inadvertently almost keep your loved ones stuck in a limbo that they cannot leave, instead of going home where they should be going. So you guys want to change your verbiage a little. I know you're not here physically, but I would love to experience you energetically. I know that we can't have a physical hug, but you can still feel the love that you would have received from that hug. You might not feel it physically, but you will feel it emotionally. And those are the kinds of things that we want you to understand that you can still experience with your loved ones when you come from a heart space. When you are in your head and your ego and you are so obsessed with feeling them physically or hearing their voice or getting a phone call, those are very physical human things that we feel connect us, but that's not what the connection is. The connection is the emotional response that we receive when we get the phone call. It's not the phone call. Does that make sense? I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. And so Donda wants us to know that the only reason that Kanye is acting out in this way is because he's so lost without his mother. He has used his mother as a lifeline for so long that he doesn't have any idea how to soothe himself, how to know what the right thing to do is and the wrong thing to do, how to make the decisions that would that would positively impact his life. Instead, he's doing what his mother saw that he would do, that she kind of nipped in the bud when she was around, that he's a clown. He's an attention seeker. He does outrageous things to feel validated, to gain attention. He doesn't care if it's good or bad. Um, and when she was around, she kind of stopped that part of it. But instead of letting him experience the backlash of that at a young age, he's experiencing it now at an older age. So, so yeah. Oh, all right. What's the lesson here? Please tell us the lesson. How can we help? What's the lesson here? How can we help? What's the lesson? Dig deep, get deliberate. One of the best things that we've ever done in our family is making the ingredients for joy and meaning list. I encourage you to sit down and make a list of the specific conditions that are in place when everything feels good in your life. Oh, just like I said. Then check that list. Then check that list against your to-do list and to your accomplish list. It might surprise you. Uh, so if you're in a situation like Kanye and you rely on somebody for your happiness, or you rely on out or external sources for validation, Spirit says you need to find those things within yourself internally. And this says to make a list. You don't have to make a list, but that's so funny because I was thinking of making a TikTok about um, things that I'm grateful for, because we often lose sight of our purpose and things that bring us joy when we're searching outside of ourselves for people to make us feel good. And and the way that we get back to that feeling of having purpose, of having that joy, that self-fulfilling joy, that we don't need anyone else for, is to find things that make you feel good. So like I said, it's not the phone call from the loved one that makes you feel good. It's the love from the person that makes you feel good. So like for instance, kids, like I think about my kids and I instantly feel good. So you have to find things in your life, even the littlest things, a good cup of coffee or flowers or being in the sunshine or going bowling or buying a new pair of shoes, whatever it is for you that makes you feel good. You have to find those things on purpose and remember that feeling, and then you apply it to the things that make you feel good, emotionally, for success, for loving yourself, for finding someone that matches those feelings in your life, for your work, all different areas of your life. If you rely on one person to give you all of those feelings, you will lose them indefinitely. Every time you will lose it. and then you'll forget how to get it because you were never taught how to find it for yourself in the first place.
Is there sharks in here?
My son loves sharks, so that's his happy place, okay? So I hope that helps. I gotta go. I love you so much. Thank you so much to Donda West for coming through. We are so grateful for the messages. Thank you to Spirit for connecting us. I love you so much. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.
That was good.
Oh, thank you.